What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Shift here on YouTube. It's Francisco Rojas. And here with a little bit of a short deadline recap. I want to do biggest winner, biggest loser, and the team you slept on the most after the trade deadline, or you're just sleeping on the most. Me and Nick Earnshaw, we usually do the pod every Sunday. And with our next show being this Sunday, we're not going to be talking about the deadline as much come Sunday, and it's still a topic right now as the deadline finished a couple of days ago. So what I have for you today, again, biggest winner, biggest loser, and sleeper from this past Major League Baseball trade deadline. So the biggest winner, we're going to go in order here. Biggest winner, loser, and then sleeper. Biggest winner, the San Diego Padres. Now, I know the Padres we're kind of after last year with, getting Soto and Bogarts and having the big four between Machado, Bogarts, Tatis, and Bogarts, Tatis, Machado, and Soto. It was like, oh my gosh. Then they ended up, only winning 82 games. So I get it. People laugh at the Padres and whatnot. But the Padres had a good deadline. Okay? They had a good deadline. And don't forget, the Luis Rojas trade, I'm counting that trade as a part of the deadline. I know they've practically given up the farm system to get the guys that they did with Luis Rojas and Tanner Scott and Jason Adam from the Tampa Bay Rays. But they've done what they're supposed to do, and now, with the team that they have, there's too much talent on that team to not go for it. And now I feel like they addressed their weaknesses. They've now gone from a below average bullpen, to say the least, to Robert Suarez, Tanner Scott, and Jason Adam in the back end of that bullpen. And all of a sudden, that back end of that bullpen looks pretty nasty, if you ask me. So they have that bullpen, and they've addressed, the part of their team that wasn't very good. And now, with that offense, that offense is still a lot of talent on that offense. Tatis right now on the IL, but so much talent on that offense. The rotation will be interesting. Maybe we'll see what happens once Joe Musgrove comes back. But rotation is interesting. I think there's enough firepower there, though, with Cease and Michael King at the top of that rotation to where you can make a run here. And the Padres pretty much did everything they could. And I thought they made a lot of the right moves. That being Tanner Scott, Jason Adam, Luis Rojas. I'm still counting a part of this because it was a trade before the deadline in season. So I'm counting that here. So the Padres, look, a couple of years ago, NLCS, I know we look back at last year and say, well, they didn't even make the playoffs. But they're a team, I felt like they won the deadline. They won the deadline. They made the right moves, and they're geared up to go potentially make a run in the National League. So we'll see. San Diego Padres, to me, though, the biggest winner this trade deadline. Biggest loser, the San Francisco Giants. The Giants, for me, absolutely have stunk up. Whether it's deadline, whether it's the offseason, whether it's the moves they make. Once again, I have no idea what they're doing at the trade deadline. Once again, I just have no clue what they're doing. They have no direction of what they want to go in. Anything. They have zero idea about what they really want to do. You gave up Jorge Soler in a deal for Sabine Ceballos and Tyler Matzek. You gave up a deal for those two, and you gave up Luke Jackson, who has been good this year. But the point is, Jorge Soler, who was supposed to be, a big part of this offense, he's not there now. And it's not like you've given up guys and you've sold off your big names to like a Blake Snell or whomever to to load up the farm. You didn't do that. You didn't pick one or the other. You didn't pick to go in the direction of, go all in, even though you're 4 or 5 games back of the wild card. You didn't pick that one direction to go all in, and you didn't pick the direction to potentially retool. You picked neither direction. So San Francisco Giants, what would have made sense to me is maybe like the Padres, their blueprint of how they got their relievers, they addressed their weakness, they got a rise, added a bat to the lineup. Didn't really do much starter-wise, but still, if you were the Giants, you could have got a bat, you could have got an arm in the bullpen, and you could have got a starting pitcher. And that would have, to me, that would have made a lot of sense. You're that, or you don't go in at all, or you're going in the opposite direction. It was either one or the other, and the Giants didn't do that. I had no idea what they were doing. Mark Canha too. That didn't really make any sense, gonna be honest. So, and Canha's not a bad player, but it didn't make sense in the grand scheme of things for the San Francisco Giants. So that is my loser for sure, is the San Francisco Giants. Sleeper, Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays are the sleeper. And I know the reason why they're the sleeper here is because, a lot of people were expecting them to trade Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and they didn't do that. But now that they didn't do this, let's look at, the moves that they have made now, right? They acquired Jake Bloss, who is now a top 3 prospect for them. He's number 2 prospect for them now in their farm system. And they got Will Wagner from the Astros, and for Yusei Kikuchi, and Kikuchi has not been a good arm for the Toronto Blue Jays. So Will Wagner, he's a top prospect. He's one of their top prospects as well. You have Bloss, Jonathan Clase, he's number 9 in your farm system now. Wagner, number 22. Edison Paulino, number 21. Cutter Coffee, 29. And RJ Schreck, 30. So you get, what's that? 1, 2, 3, about 6 guys in your top 30 now for your farm system. I'm not saying they have a phenomenal farm system, but you picked one side and you said, let's go retool. Let's go retool. And that's exactly what they did by making these moves, trading Justin Turner to the Seattle Mariners. So now you're in the direction of, or going in the direction of, you have Vladdy and you have Bo Bichette still. 2 guys that, Bichette seemed like people expected the Blue Jays to trade Bo Bichette, but they did not. And now you have Vladdy and Bichette, and you can try to retool and build around them. And you have the prospects to, you've reloaded your farm system, and now you've picked a direction of retooling / rebuilding with Vladdy and Bo Bichette, still relatively young, right? So you're able to do that by reloading the farm system, and you still have some good players there in the rotation, with Gausman, Bassett, and Barrios, and guys there, with George Springer. But you picked one lane, and now you're able to do that going forward around Bichette and Guerrero. And I think maybe it's not necessarily a move people love because people expected them to just blow it all up and trade Vladdy and Bichette. But, now you give it maybe a second chance with Bichette and Vladdy. Give it a second chance with them. So I do think the Blue Jays are a sleeper. They are the biggest sleeper, the team that people are sleeping on the most from this trade deadline. So let me know your thoughts. Biggest winner, biggest loser, and team people are sleeping on the most. I want to know from you. YouTube comments, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Whatever, dislike. What if you dislike the video, you want to tell me why I'm wrong, whatever. Just either way, okay? Twitter, @Rojas_media_, the shift_media, all that good stuff. The social down below in the description box. Talk to you guys soon.